G'day everyone, Gareth here from Organic Growing Melbourne. I'm going to have a chat about citrus today, and what I've sort of found out over the last few years of growing them. So this is my orange, and it is taking ages to grow. Unfortunately, the avocado grows a lot quicker than an orange. And so does my nectarine here, and it's sort of getting swamped. It doesn't get much sun, but looks really healthy. Only got a couple of oranges this year, which is a bit ridiculous. 1, 2. But what I've noticed is, so this has been in the ground for, I'd have to say, 3 years now. It hasn't done much. It's about my height, so just shy of 6 foot. But what I've noticed is this particular season I got a lot more new growth, and I looked into it a bit and found that they can just pretty much do nothing for the first couple of years, and then they really start to grow a lot quicker. I'm going to have to cut this avocado back on the side, and the nectarine possibly cut back so it can get a bit more sun, and that'll obviously help. Again, there are some problems with the oranges and, well, any citrus, and that's gall wasp. I do protect my trees, my citrus, from gall wasp using a little thing you hang off. I'll show you later on another citrus. But if I had it my way, I'm probably going to pull this orange tree out and put it somewhere else. The avocado is going to get a hell of a lot bigger than that, which means it won't get any morning sun at all. So I think it needs to be moved. They're pretty easy to transplant. Obviously I'll need to cut it, prune it right back, get as many roots as I can, and I'll find a new home for that. Now what I'll do is I'll take you out the front where I've got a few more citrus, and we'll have a quick talk about the citrus I've got out there. Bear with me for a minute. Alright, we're at the front. So I've got 3 other citrus out the front here. So here I've got a little mandarin which got extremely sick, and I'll show you the damage. Now this tree looked fine, and then all of a sudden I noticed this bark was coming off, like really bad, all the way down to the cambium layer, right here. That caused the tree to get extremely sick. I did put some like a really sticky gel protection on here. Now I've been told it was sun damage, but I find that a bit odd being on this side of the tree. You can see the shadow, although it's on it now. Yeah, it might have been, but it doesn't explain why this mandarin didn't get any damage at all. These are 2 mandarins. There's no damage on this bark here. And again, 1 year I got fruit on this. We got about 25 mandarins off this one. And again, that's only about 7, 8 foot. Get these little caterpillars off. And I got about 25 fruit off that. And then this one actually got more. And now I've had nothing. So this season, nothing at all. But I do believe that mandarins can crop really heavy 1 year and then have a really small crop the following year. and maybe being young, maybe they just didn't decide to fruit at all. This is this is what I use to protect my citrus from gall wasp and fruit fly, but mainly the gall wasp. Has a thing you open up at the top here. It's got this odour that attracts them to this, and then they get stuck to it and die. And over here, it's a subtropical pomelo. This is the largest citrus in the world. And I've got a few on here. And this is another tree that's only about 6.5 foot. And this has really started to take off. This is all new growth. I mean, it's really weird. I've got a subtropical tree here in Melbourne, and it is healthier and doing so much better than your temperate climate mandarins. Don't know how that works. But yeah, there's probably about 10 pomelo in here. Now these pomelo get as big as your head. But all this new growth, all this is new growth. All this here. And again, I've got that one there, and this one here to protect from gall wasp. But unfortunately, I have come across here. I don't know whether this is going to really see it, but that swollen branch there, and then there's another little branch in here. They're gall wasp. Even though I've had these here, they've still got into this. I'm actually wondering whether they were in here when I bought the tree. Now, I'm not going to worry about it. When there's just minor gall wasp like this, it'll probably be okay. When you start to get branches that have got the whole, 3 or 4 inches of swollen branch, and then you can see the new growth beyond that starting to look thick, you probably want to just cut them off and then go chuck them away, and not in your green waste bin, because you just spread them. So yeah, you need to be really careful that you don't chuck them in your compost bin. I think that's probably another little start of a gall wasp in there. What they do is they lie their larvae in the branch, right? And then the larvae will feed off the sap and restricts the sap on the rest of the branch. And then eventually, the branch just dies off, and then they make these little holes when the larvae hatch. You'll see all these little tiny holes around it. I've seen some lemon trees that are just like completely infested with it. But I've actually pruned citrus before, right back, as you can see this one, although this wasn't for gall wasp, this was because it was really sick, and it's come back really well. You can see all this new growth on it, it's looking fantastic. You can see I just pruned this and just left some main branches. Same with an orange over here, which I rescued from a client of mine. This was pot bound, and then there was ants nesting in the pot, and this was extremely sick. And she told me it was about 6 years old, this one, but you can see its trunk's not that big. But I cut this back, you can see here, there, all the way back to here, and I've got, what, 1.5 foot growth in, I'd have to say 3 months. And this is an orange. This is a blood orange, this one. So yeah, you can you can rescue them, and you can be pretty brutal on citrus, and it'll come back. This is, the more the bigger the tree, you want to try and get as many roots as you can when you're transplanting it. But obviously you're going to lose pretty much the majority of the root system. And if you don't prune the tree, the roots that it has will not be able to sustain all the growth. And you might end up having just branches just all dying and stuff. And you don't want branches rotting, all right? So the best thing to do is just to prune it right back. And believe it or not, like you can see this where I've pruned it here, and then all this new growth shoots out of these branches. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 or 6 new branches that have formed off that one branch I cut. And it's the same with all the branches that I've pruned. And it comes back, as you can see. And it's not just citrus, but to this one as well. Now I'm not too sure whether this is another one I rescued. I'm not too sure whether this is going to actually survive this one, and only because of the damage it had down here. And in there is actually rotting and getting eaten. You can see like sawdust coming out of there. So this one, I'm not holding hopes for this one. Although I did prune this right back, and this was a 8 foot, 9 foot tree, this one. And as you can see, I pruned that down to 3 foot. And these are all the new growth. And then I've pruned the new growth as well, just to keep it small. But I think this one will end up dying. It's okay. I've got plenty of fruit trees that I can put in there. So yeah, I don't have any lemons or limes. I don't need any. I have many clients that give lemons and limes to me. Everyone seems to have them. But the pomelo, subtropical pomelo, down here in Melbourne, temperate climate, seems to be doing so much better. So I'd highly recommend a pomelo. This particular type is a Carter's red. So the flesh is red, the skin's thinner, plus the fruit are massive. And last year I juiced these up into a beautiful pomelo cordial. Just boiled it up with honey. Oh, it was delicious. Highly recommend one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, maybe leave a comment. And don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And yeah, and also if you press that little bell, every time I release a new video, you'll get a notification. Alright, thanks everyone. Take care, bye.